Hey everyone, so I thought I'd talk about a topic which is I'm pretty passionate about. So as many of you may know, the whole fat acceptance is becoming quite a thing now. A lot of people are now. Before I start on this isn't some kind of hate video, like just because I'm like slimmer now. I'm not like turning against people who are fat or whatever, because obviously I used to be fat and I understand the struggle. So I'm not saying being fat is a problem, but remaining fat and not trying to do something about it. This is what I'm going to cover in this video. So obviously there's people out there and they're sort of promoting essentially being fat, which ultimately means being unhealthy. I mean, there's being fuller, and curvy, and then there's being damn right fat or obese. Obviously, some people, we're all different. Some people have slightly bigger frames than others, but this means bones and muscle structure. This doesn't mean that you have extra fat on you. Just because you've got wider hips, if you touch those hips or X-ray and that's bone, then that's fine. But if it's like the bones are here and then the fat's coming around here, then that's not your curvy, that's your fat, and you need to fix that because you otherwise you're unhealthy. Now I feel like I'm in a unique perspective, having seen both sides. So originally, before I was fat, I was somewhat slim. I was never super slim or skinny or anything like that, but I was somewhat slim, sort of average, we'll say. Excuse me. And anyway, obviously I got very, very, very fat, morbidly obese. So I feel like I can offer the perspective of viewing this. So yeah, I got really, really big, and I never at any point accepted that. I just was too lazy to do anything about it, simply. So it was a case of I accepted the fact that I couldn't be bothered to do anything about it. That was it. I never accepted that I was fat, never promoted it, never said it was good. So this video really is against people who are promoting being fat. Now, here's another issue as well. A lot of people will say that being fat is self-love. Nah. To me, self-love is loving your body, and yes, accepting that. Like for me, 2 years ago, I accepted that I was fat and that I wouldn't immediately be slim. However, I loved my body enough to do something about it, to give it the respect it deserves, to put the diet in, the exercise in, and the healthy food that it deserved, versus continuing. I mean, obviously, if you're fat now, that isn't going to change in a month or 2 weeks. So I'm not saying don't accept your body as it is, but love it enough to want to make it better. Now, if you're sort of, I've seen a lot of promoters, promoting curvy and fat acceptance and stuff like this. Now, like I said, I'm not against fat shaming. If someone's too lazy to do something about being fat, then that's their own problem, isn't it? I've been in the same boat for many years. It's honestly a vicious circle. It's literally gets to the point where you sort of eat because you're unhappy, and then you're unhappy because you eat. And it's like a cycle that repeats, You sort of think, oh God, I'm fat, so then you eat some Ben & Jerry's to make you feel better, but then you get fat again. So it's like a cycle that, you have to break. You have to use all the strength and willpower in you to break it. Now, some people are not quite there yet, However, I really do not accept or respect anyone who is promoting being fat, because like as I've said, being overly fat or even somewhat fat and is unhealthy. Like if you're fat now, okay, fair enough, if you're doing something about it, right? However, you shouldn't remain fat. Like, I'm not going to name names and stuff, but some people are letting them, actresses and things like that, and even some people on YouTube that I've seen are letting themselves get fat, and they're using they're just saying oh, I love my body, I'm curvy, I'm naturally curvy, and it's like, well, you weren't naturally curvy a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever, and they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and promoting it and just sort of being like, oh, self-love, fat acceptance. And anyone who says anything against it, like who is worried for the person, they're sort of commenting saying, oh, I'm worried about you, you're getting bigger, I'm seeing it, like you're getting bigger, and you're covering yourself as well with your hair and various things, and they're sort of thinking you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then anyone who says anything against it, they're a fat shamer, or they're some sort of hater or whatever. Now, I don't agree with that, and I don't agree. I mean, if someone wants to stay fat, like I've said, whatever, but don't be like, oh, fat acceptance, I'm loving my body, whatever, because you're not. If you're getting fat, you're not loving your body. You're doing the absolute opposite. Fat is toxic, and it's a toxin that needs to be getting rid of as soon as possible. We're not bears. We don't hibernate. We're not going to go into a cave for 6 months and use these fat stores to help us survive through the winter. We eat fucking daily, 2, 3, 4 meals a day. We don't need any fat stores, any serious fat stores. Even athletes who are burning through crazy amounts of fat stores each day, even they don't have serious amounts of fat stores. Triathletes, etc., they're the ones who actually use the fat on the body. The rest of us don't. The rest of us are just, as soon as we're hungry, we eat. The food's always there. We live in a world now, there's no excuse to be fat, there's no need to be fat. It literally does more harm than good. And it puts you in a state of unhealth. It puts you in an unhealthy state. So literally your body, it's toxic, and you store all the toxins, and you store excess water, and it's just a vicious cycle. I'm so glad that I've got rid of the majority of my fat now, and I'm not fat, and I'm not even talking about aesthetic purposes. I'm not even going to go into that on this point. I'm simply talking about the health complications of being fat. Just simply being fat, you're more at risk for high blood pressure. You're more at risk for a start, you're going to be sweating. I'm sweating now, but I'm in fucking Thailand. I've got an excuse. It's about 35°C. You're going to be sweating all the time if you're fat as well, because you just got too much. Like, it's like wearing 5 sweaters, when you don't need to. It's just so unhealthy for you. Your body has to work so much harder to maintain that fat as well. So, I really don't. I'll never promote being curvy or whatever. Like I said, naturally curvy, meaning you've actually got wide hips, bones, that's fine. But let's be honest, if you put these people for an x-ray, most of them, it's going to be like the bones are here and the fat's here. Like, no. You should be like squashed down. So yeah, I don't promote, and I never will. You'll never see me promote that sort of staying fat, etc., when it's unhealthy. I'm all about body love, but to me, body love and body acceptance, self-acceptance, etc., means loving your body that much that you want to do better. Like, all right, if you've got a birthmark on your face, or you've got some sort of defect on your arm, like what can you do about that? Unless it's, like I said, something that you can change through diet or something. Yeah, you've got to accept that and you've got to love that. But something like having excess fat on your body, you can change that. You've got the power to just change that. Like, I'm not saying the changes are going to happen overnight, but you could change the diet tomorrow, and then you could literally, boom, I'm going to eat, a healthy, preferably something like whole foods, vegan lifestyle, diet, exercise, things like that. And then that's going to eventually help it. And you're eventually going to become healthy. So yeah, to me, fat acceptance versus sort of body love and etc. I really agree that loving your body means getting it into its most healthy state. And anyone who says that they love the body and they allow themselves to be obese or overweight, whatever, they're not really loving the body, and they're just being lazy, and they're just what's the word? They're just making excuses for being lazy. And then anyone who then comments and's like, oh, you look beautiful, bigger is beautiful, whatever, yeah, they're enablers, in my opinion. Them sort of people are enablers. Now, this is not a hate video. I don't hate anyone who's overweight. Like I said, if you want to be overweight and you literally can't be bothered to do anything about it, that's fine. you know, or if you're having a hard time doing something about it and it's taking longer, that's fine. But the main thing is that you're doing something about it. And if you say that you love your body, then love your body and respect it enough to remove toxic fat. Now, I'm not saying get to an unhealthy body fat, not at all, but get to a healthy body fat. So, you know, usually if you're a woman, that's like 20%. If you're a man, that's like 15 or whatever. So, yeah, just get yourself to a healthy weight, a weight that you feel comfortable with, and just don't have excess fat on you, basically, because it's not healthy. So the real message on this video is being overweight is not healthy, whichever way you look at it, and it's not a good thing neither, and it's certainly something that it saddens me to see promoted, especially with so many celebrities getting fatter now. I'm not going to mention names, and even some YouTubers I've seen get fat, so it really saddens me to see them promoting it as well, and promoting laziness. That's like me saying, oh, I don't ride a bike anymore, I ride a scooter, but that's okay. You should all ride a scooter too. You know, just sit on the scooter and just buzz away like a fat lazy slob. You know, the only time I see a vehicle coming into play is like, wow, I'm going to go touring like cross country for 500k, or, you know, I'm going to do a massive market haul. And even then, you know, you can have a rack on your bike. I'm getting a rack on my bike. You can have a big backpack. I hold 20 kilograms of potatoes, bananas, pumpkin, all that lot from the market today, and I'm fine for it. You know, even Brittany, she's carrying 10 kilos on her back, so yeah, it can be done. There's no excuses. So yeah, I really, you'll never see me promote fat acceptance or whatever, because it's not healthy. So that's the message in this video. It's gone on far too long. So leave your comments down below. I'm not trying to upset anyone. Maybe I will do that anyway, but I'll see you in the next video, everyone.